We have a saying in English, which is when it rains, it pours, as in if something goes wrong, everything ends up going wrong. Does it feel like that today and with everything that happened, and how can you reset for later again?
Well, for sure was a shame. Obviously, it was a great opportunity. A bit annoyed about lap one with how it went. It seems like it's like this, that you can do basically whatever you want, so it's good to know for the future. Definitely it's a shame, but luckily we have a qualifying to bounce back.
Thank you, Max. I know there's nothing you personally can do about an unsafe release, but as I only get one question, I want to ask about the situation and are there any issues with the pit stop lights with the team, because there were issues a couple of races ago as well. So in a season this tight, how difficult is it for you to deal with incidents like that affecting your races?
Well, they've all been different incidents, so you cannot really compare these things, but I think we all don't want that to happen, but it happened. So this is something that we need to investigate, but at the other hand also I'm just happy that no one got injured, because with these cars, if you hit someone, it's not great, but I think it was super clear what happened there, so it's not much more for me to add.
Can I just ask you about the start? They looked at your start for you being out of your box, but it looks like your tyre was just on the white line. Was that a deliberate, I know I can be here, from you?
On the edge.
Great, thank you.
Christian, we just saw you talking to Rich there. I've never known Red Bull to have an incident like that. Really unusual for you guys.
Yeah, look, it was a human error. We'll learn from it. Thank you.
Toto, that must be a bit of frustrating sprint race. Two critical moments, both involving Kimi. What did you think of the start? As he said on the radio, that's just racing, that's the way the guidelines are at the moment?
Yeah, I don't think we are setting good precedents. You're just releasing the brake and then you push the other guy off. And for the junior formulas also. I think you need to leave a car space, but it's kind of creeped in. Turn one, push them out. And it's, Kimi's sixth race or whatever it is, and now in a race that would be seriously annoying. But I'm surprised about let's go out of the way here.
Yeah, the car's coming in.
I'm surprised about the total lack of judgment there, because it wasn't even close.
Hi Alex, P4 at the moment, we know there's a safety car infringement being investigated. Are you aware of that?
No.
Okay. So you don't know what it could be?
No.
Okay. Well then talk to me about the race then, until we get an answer on that. Talk to me about the race. And was that an opportunity today that you took, or does the car have some pace around here?
Yeah, all good. I don't know, to be honest. I'm a bit focused on that, what you just told me. So, yeah, car was good. Let's see what they say.
All right. Ollie, you set yourself up there for that ending by some fantastic laps. First points in the sprint as well. Good weekend so far.
Yes, well. I mean, yesterday it wasn't the best. We had a bad qualifying, but I'm glad that we scored some points in the sprint, and now I want to look forward to qualifying and really qualify more where we belong.
Do you feel better then about the qualifying this afternoon?
Of course, I never felt bad about qualifying yesterday prior to it. It's just really tight in sprint quali, and I didn't make it on my second lap. So, I think for me it was a new track, and my first lap was more of a sighter lap, a banker lap. I wasn't trying to push the limits, and when you don't get a second lap, then I was last. So I'm glad to have scored points having started last, but I hope that we can have a better quali today.
Thank you very much. Can I just ask you how much of that was your call at the time as well? Because we were waiting to see who would pit and who would go for it and take the risk.
It was my call, so... But it was coming from the fact that I was struggling so much on the Inter. I was losing pace. I couldn't keep up with the guys ahead. The tyres had grained front and rear, and I was just a passenger at that point. So, and I could see the dry line, and I was like, we've got to do something. Otherwise, I'm going to lose more places. So I made the call. I kind of wish I did it maybe a lap before, but happy I made it. The car felt great after that, and then to get third from 7th, it's a good one.
Commiserations for the way that it happened and you weren't able to take the start of that race. Is it more frustrating that you weren't able to see it, you saw how that race panned out and what might have been?
Yeah, it's frustrated, but at the end of the day I can only blame myself for it. Going out with the Inters in those conditions was probably not the best choice, but on the other hand, these things shouldn't happen. I felt a bit like a passenger because it's in a straight line and it's not like you are pushing in a straight line. So I was just cruising until I completely lost control of the car because of the aquaplaning, and I had no way out of it. So yeah, very disappointed. It's the way it is. Now I need to move on because there's a qualifying in a few hours, which I hope I'll be able to take part of. And if I do, then I hope we can recover from a difficult beginning of the day.
Well, best of luck and hope it gets better for the rest of the week. Hey Fernando, well, you were driving a race that looked like you were going to score points. Just talk me through the great feeling that you had up until that point, and obviously that moment with Liam.
Yeah, I think it was a good drive today, and yeah, unfortunately we stopped way too late, to fit the dry tires. So yeah, I was fighting with Luis and Alex at one point in the race, and then we ended up fighting with Lawson behind. So yeah, I think we missed an opportunity to score points, but I was driving my maximum.
Great stuff. Best of luck. Thank you.
Liam, I'm not sure you saw yourself ending up in the points today at the start of that race, but you have to be there and make your own luck, and you did.
Yeah, it was a good race. At the start, sometimes it happens where heaven's just open for you and you can go through, and that's what happened to us today. Had a good first lap, and then the pace was good, and then yeah, I think switching to the dries, we did it at the right time, and that's what's put us in the points. Thank you.
Andre, congratulations on a sprint race 1-2. I imagine there were some very, very tricky decisions in that race.
Well, yeah, it was eventful during the sprint, but it was also eventful before. Already at the time of the laps to the grid, it was a lot of water. On track, it surprised Leclerc, for instance. So yeah, tricky decisions to be made. But today, I have to say, both drivers and the team executed the sprint race pretty much perfectly. A clean path to 1-2 in the sprint, which is important. It's a good start of this weekend. The rain, the weather could still play a factor, could still be a factor for the remainder of the weekend. So we stay wary and we prepare for qualifying.
Okay, a couple of key incidents regarding Oscar I want to ask you about. First of all, the start. It was similar, not the same, similar to Jeddah. Kimi Antonelli said on the radio, okay, good to know if this is just the way things are now. Is that just the way things are?
Well, I think there are relatively clear guidelines, and also the interpretation of the stewards that we not only trust, but also rely on in terms of setting the standards. So that's the standards for everyone. But if we look at Oscar's position, approaching corner one, Oscar staying on track all the way, I think that belongs to the category of clean maneuvers.
And the second one with Oscar, of course, it looked like you pitted him on the right lap for slicks, and it was just unlucky, I guess. I mean, even if you had kept Lando out and there had been a safety car, then the result would have been the same. Lando would have won rather than Oscar.
Well, yes, in hindsight, actually not pitting Lando would have pretty much led to the same outcome, but it was the right thing to pit him at the time. There were really some fast lap times coming from cars on dry, and it would have been too much of a risk of the tires going off completely. It would have been a bit of a misery end of the race for Lando. So we decided to go. Oscar was ahead. We gave him priority. And, safety car seems to be playing to Lando's ends here in Miami. But in fairness to Lando, his pace was very strong. Already on the intermediate tires, he was closing the gap to Oscar. And without switching to the dry tires, it could have been an entertaining battle between the two McLaren drivers.
It was certainly entertaining in other ways. Thank you very much. See you for qualifying later. Thank you, Andrea.